Hey guys, it's Litter Magic here, and somehow I'm still alive. Who would have thought? Had an eventful morning. You know, that really weird allergy that I have? Yeah, I was exposed to a lot of that material. It kind of makes you not be able to breathe. You know, I didn't have to go to the hospital or nothing, but I had to very quickly take some Benadryl. And then everybody thought that I showed up for Christmas totally wrecked on something. They're not wrong. That stuff is basically beaver tranquilizers. So anyway, Wizards gave us a big present, except not really. I hope they gave us a receipt with it. But it's at least interesting. It's something to talk about. You guys know I'm excited about the Dominaria storyline because, I gave my prediction, which is, I keep calling him Ugin. Nicol Bolas. What's the difference? So I think Nicol Bolas is headed back to Dominaria because that's where the mending started, when they put time back together after the Silex Blast. So if he, causes another Silex Blast, then it might fracture everything again and undo the mending, maybe? I mean, that's like a guess, but it seems reasonable. So that cool. I can't wait for the Gatewatch to have, a final battle with Nicol Bolas over in Dominaria. That'll be fitting, because Dominaria, I think, was the first plane that Magic took place on. Either that or Chandalar, but I think that was second. Or is it Shalindar? I just keep calling it Chandelier as a joke in case you missed me playing through the game called that. Oh yes, Magic had an RPG. A card RPG. Somehow I got it to run on Windows 7. So a lot of people are feeling like, yeah, that's where this is going, because we've had the whole Gatewatch Nicol Bolas thing. I mean, Nicol Bolas was kind of Kaladesh kinda. I think Nicol Bolas was trying to get the planar bridge built or something like that. Might be wrong, didn't actually read that one, but then, the whole Eldritch Moon thing and all that with the Eldrazi, that was the Gatewatch, and then the one before that with Zendikar, that was an Eldrazi thing, but it was all the Gatewatch, So the Gatewatch's big enemy is Nicol Bolas, and there you go. So that's where we're at with the lore right now in the storyline. So we've been invested in it for 2 years since BFZ or something like that, so people really want to see it get, somewhat wrapped up. I mean, they're never going to just end the Magic story and just start with a brand new place. Well, probably not. I mean, they've done it before, but I just feel like they wouldn't now because they said something about they need the stories to link between the sets now, or I don't know, they said something to that effect. But either way, Dominaria is where we're headed, and check out this banner. From left to right, that is, of course, Jhoira, Teferi, and Iron Man. Oh wait, I got my notes mixed up. That's Karn. I don't know much about Jhoira, but we'll find out about her in a second after I go read about her. Teferi, though, he likes to make things phase in and out of time. And not a lot of people really like him, especially considering what he did in the storyline. I'll give you a super quick rundown of that in a sec. And then Karn was built by Urza to, I think, fight the Phyrexians or something like that, or that's what he ended up doing. And he became a planeswalker, I think, with the use of a bunch of artifacts that were Urza's or something like that. So it wasn't clear if he himself can time travel like the card implies, or if he uses a time traveling device or the Weatherlight or something like that to travel back in time. I don't know, didn't read the books, but just he can time travel. Let's just throw that out there. Now, Karn actually went back in time and saved Teferi's life because he died once, I guess. And so Teferi, his strategy is when something bad is about to happen, just phase stuff out. Cross your fingers, remove stuff from the time stream, and then come back later and hope it solved itself, which is ridiculous. I mean, World War II, okay, Hitler's taken over Europe. America's like, oh, we don't want to get involved in the war. Let's just phase the entire continent of North America out for 100 years, come back and hope it solved itself. Yeah, let's do that. That's a great strategy, Teferi, you idiot. So he became a planeswalker, I don't know, sometime when he was, I think, going to Teferi Academy, and then that was destroyed. I don't remember what happened to it. I'll just assume liberals took over and just ruined it. You know what's happening to universities these days. I assume that's what happened. And actually, he was originally from, Jamaica. We'll just say Jamaica. So he's a Jamaican mage. He studied at Teferi Academy, became a planeswalker at some point, and that was back when planeswalkers were insanely powerful and immortal. So every time there was a war, or Urza tried to recruit him to help with the war with the Phyrexians, he was just I don't really want to help, don't really want to get involved. I don't really remember what his reasoning was there, but he pretended to help, and then when a whole bunch of portals opened, he just I don't know, spammed them. He'd DDoS to the portals. They just spammed their way through it. It was hilarious. And then he stole, when they were collapsing or something like that, he stole all their mana and then used it to phase out, I think for the second time, the entire continent that he was on, called Shiv. So when Urza found out that's what he was doing, he's like, can you not? Because the continent of Shiv has some really powerful allies that could help us in the war. And he's like, good luck. I think he sent it like out of the time stream for like 300 years or something. So yeah, people don't typically like Teferi because his tactics are like run away and like every man for himself, or it's all about me, you know, just that kind of attitude. Oh, but I got some good news because bad things happen to bad people, right? In order to fix some kind of time thing, I think it was because, believe it or not, the continent of Shiv, or the district or whatever it was, accidentally got stuck, like phased out of time or whatever. And I think he had to like use his Planeswalker Spark to bring it back. So don't cast magic if you can't undo it. Well, actually, it was northwestern Jamaica, we'll say, and part of Shiv that he just completely removed from the time stream. Oh, when they eventually came back after the apocalypse, it was 300 years later, they're like, oh man, there's no mana left on this plane because it was devastated. Whoops, maybe we should have, fought, done something productive or helpful, I think actually he did phase the continents back in, but then there was some kind of time distortions, and that's what he had to give up his Planeswalker Spark to close. So now he's mortal and not very powerful, which is hilarious because he deserved it, because his tactics suck. Plus, seriously, I don't like phasing as a mechanic. I think it's just kind of annoying. Like, it's kind of funny. It's like the blue version of Whack-A-Mole, and it's a little bit less severe than, counter spells, but it never resonated with me. It's kind of like Suspend. I just don't like Suspend. There's nothing particularly mathematically wrong with it or unfair about it, but I just don't like it. Now, from a card perspective, a lot of cards with him on it and related to him, obviously he was phasing, and then they like to mess with timing. Like, I think he can let, like, Planeswalkers use their abilities on other people's turns and stuff, which is kind of wild, and just a couple other things, like lock your opponents into only casting all spells at sorcery speed, giving creatures flash, so it's kind of like timing, as opposed to just, like, time travel, but that's kind of cool from a flavor standpoint. So I pretty much covered Karn. I mean, you've seen the Planeswalker card. He's not really on that many cards, but he's a pretty big part of the storyline. So let's talk about Jhoira, who is Shivan, so she's from Shiv, the magical disappearing continent, apparently. And she's originally from the Gitu tribe, so hopefully Shivan and Gitu are kind of coming to mind. And guess what? She also went to Tolarian Academy, probably got a degree in gender studies and counterspells. She can now counter-target misogyny. So the cool thing is she was actually friends with Karn, and then like Karn went back in time to save Teferi, and they all kind of know each other, so it makes sense that they're all in the artwork together. Now, I thought actually Karn left Dominaria on the Weatherlight, and that was like the end of one of the books or stories or something, but maybe that was Urza. I don't know. I'm really bad with lore. If I recall, Jhoira was the one who accidentally blew up the first academy, so whoops. But then Urza came back to make the second one, thus Urza Academy Headmaster on the Unstable card. Plus, I mean, the opportunity for the pun, I mean, that you gotta go for it. She did actually save Teferi's life at one point. I don't remember if she was the one who threw the wet blanket on him while he was on fire and in some kind of time dilation field. And it actually took 5 years for the blanket to land on him and put him out, which is kind of funny. Now, she's pretty clever, not only because I think in the current time frame, she's hundreds of years old, if I'm not mistaken here on order of operations. But because of all the time fractures and crap that happened to the first academy, she, like, enabled people to travel between them and stuff, kind of like that one episode of Star Trek Voyager. And somehow she made, like, some water that crossed between the time rifts, like, she turned it into anti-aging potion, which seems a little bit far-fetched even for a Magic the Gathering story, but yeah, so she basically just, like, never ages. So she actually ended up being the first captain of the Weatherlight, which is very interesting. So I guess they all kind of traveled together. Her, Urza, Karn, and Teferi were kind of loosely associated and on the same team, on and off, sort of. So if you're not familiar with Jhoira of Gitu, the card, it's pretty wild, I gotta say. She's a 2/2 that costs 3, 1 red, 1 blue, 1 generic, and you pay 2 colorless, or 2, I should say 2 generic. 2 colorless would be a little rough. Exile any non-land card from your hand, just straight up anything, put 4 time counters on it, and then it gains Suspend, I should say. So then every upkeep, you remove a time counter from it, and when the last one is removed, you instantly cast it. And if it's a creature, it gains haste, which is kind of nice. But yeah, you could just put it on a 12/12 trample dinosaur. So hopefully they don't quite go with that. I really don't want them to bring Suspend back, and I don't think anybody else does, because it's like, it's so far away, like 3, 4, 5 turns, which is most of the Suspend cards. they might as well. I mean, you're going to lose the game in the meantime. Like, if that's your big turnaround, unless you can do it on like turn 2 where you don't care, you can't wait that long. And a lot of them have natural cast costs that are like lower, or I mean higher, I should say. But suspend is just, it's one of those things where nobody ever pays suspend and uses it the way they're supposed to in other formats like Modern and Commander. So it's just a broken, unfair mechanic, but only outside of the block that it's actually in, because it was really fair when they actually designed it, obviously. So hopefully they don't bring phasing back either, because, I mean, it's kind of neat, but it's just kind of dull and not amazing. Like, I'd rather they bring back something really cool, like some kind of, like, strive or multi-kicker, multi-target, whatever. Even, like, overload or something, that would be pretty cool, where you have, like, options late game. But I feel like Dominaria will just have some brand new mechanic that they invented, because if it's like a whole by itself set and it's not a two-parter or anything, why would they recycle something really old? I think they have more mechanics up their sleeves. So I told you my theory about, Nicol Bolas wants to undo the mending. He's headed to Dominaria and he's going to show up there while we're there. But keep in mind, story-wise and everything-wise, we're only there for one set. So yeah, I don't know where we're going after Dominaria. We might be staying in Dominaria and it's just a new set. Maybe they'll blow up Dominaria. Maybe they'll split it apart into time weirdness and then that'll be the next set. But there is a competing theory where people are saying, well, okay, the next one after Over Devastation just featured just Jace, which is loosely true because it's not really Jace because he hasn't regained his memories, but he will for the second half, so we'll just say, yeah, okay, it's Jace. And then Vraska was a callback to actually Nicol Bolas. So they did kind of make the story progress, because like somehow Nicol Bolas is involved and the whole Immortal Sun thing has something to do with his master plan. We do know that. That's virtually confirmed. So they managed to make like a completely separate on its own brand new thing, but still progress the story and still have Jace in it. So then the theory is, okay, the next one will be like Liliana. The one after that will be Chandra. And we'll have to go through like basically 5 sets before we, figure out where all the Gatewatch people went and then get them back together on like the 6th set, which no thanks. I don't want to wait like 2.5 years. Oh wait, no, that's right. There's single sets now. It's still a long time, 1.25 years and 1.5 counting core sets. By the way, I heard a rumor that they're going to call the July 2018, that's 2018, they're going to name that set M19. Wizards, I mean, seriously, Wizards, do you guys think that you're a car company? Do you think that you can wait for like halfway through 2018 and then name something 2019? You really think you can do that? You really think that makes sense logically? So I would prefer that they don't do that because that's like waiting way too long to get to the climax of what we're all waiting for. I mean, this setup has been a long time coming here. I guess technically it's been like 5 sets and it will have been 6 with rivals. So it's like, can we just fight Nicol Bolas already and defeat him? Or probably not defeat him because people actually like him, but ruin his plan and make him fly away all pouty. So here's why I think that exact theory, it might be partially true, but I don't, well, I mean, it is because hello, Jace was just in it. So it's 1/5 true so far, but I don't think we're going back to Kaladesh. And I think it was either stated or very strongly implied that Chandra planeswalked back to Kaladesh. I mean, she's only been to what, like 3 planes and like 2 of them were like devastated. So it's like, why go back there? So I don't think we're doing Return to Kaladesh like 1 year after Kaladesh comes out. That just seems silly. So will it be a 5-for-5 mix? No. But here's the thing. I think Liliana might be from Dominaria. I'm actually fairly certain that's where she's from. So she might have planeswalked back to Dominaria just cause. I mean, she was chilling in Innistrad, but that place got pretty wrecked and mutated and, somewhat destroyed by the Eldrazi. I think maybe she knows that Nicol Bolas is heading to Dominaria at some point, so she's just like, I'll show up there. I'm either gonna just surrender and help him or find some people who know what the hell they're doing and fight him, which kind of leads into where I'm going with this. So maybe, just maybe, this artwork that we're looking at right here is the Gatewatch 2.0, the B team. I know Teferi just runs away from stuff. Jhoira isn't even a planeswalker, and Karn, okay, he's pretty awesome. But, like, still, the level of planning that went into the Gatewatch's non-plan on Amonkhet, where they just played the Hunger Games Desert Edition, and then, oh crap, Nicol Bolas showed up, and they had no plan, and that went well. I'm going to call the Teferi Jhoira Karn team the A team, and the original Gatewatch, let's be honest, it's basically Team Z at this point. You thought I was going to say B? No. There's got to be like 24 other teams out there that are better than them. Now, I don't know if Nicol Bolas knows how to time travel, but like Karn does, I guess. So that might be a little something there. And I don't know, maybe Teferi could like phase out Nicol Bolas or something. Jhoira, she's just really clever. I mean, she's better at planning than anybody in the Gatewatch. I mean, she's just really smart. So I think her with tactics, you got tactics, you got muscle and power, and then you got Teferi's kind of there too, I guess. Maybe he could phase out Nicol Bolas. I don't know. That actually would be like the best like cliffhanger, but not really ending, where it's like, oh, he's about to activate the immortal sun and do this and the Silex and cause another blast and refracture time to undo the mending. And then Teferi's like, haha, you're in timeout for 100 years. And then we don't hear from Nicol Bolas for like 10 more sets. Remember that episode of Futurama with the ball of garbage? Yeah, that's basically what this is. So that's my theory is, I think Liliana's going to meet with them and just be like, hey, can you guys, maybe join up with the original Gatewatch if they even end up here? Or be the new Gatewatch and try and fight Nicol Bolas. So that's my working theory right now. I think it's reasonable. And it's equally reasonable, I guess, that the Dominaria storyline could have absolutely nothing to do with Nicol Bolas. But keep in mind, Teferi fought Nicol Bolas in the past, so it's not like we're going to some faraway land that's never been heard of. So, I mean, at the end of Dominaria, we might get the whole Gatewatch showing up and they'll be riding on the Erasca, which is secretly a UFO built by the ancient aliens. And then they just smash it right into Nicol Bolas' face. That'd be pretty sweet. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be pretty sweet. And then Karn will just keep rewinding time to watch it over and over and over and laugh hysterically. So that's the official theory. Put that one on the books. I'm standing by it. But what do you guys think? I mean, what details have I massively massacred or left out about Teferi, Jhoira, and Karn? And do you think we'll see Urza again? Because he died, then didn't, then came back, and then didn't, and then the mending happened, and then I think he was out of the plane at the time, and nobody really knows what's going on with Urza right now, I guess. So could he return as an intelligent planeswalker head? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, he literally just did an unstable. That might be like foreshadowing, maybe. But I think Urza's pretty clever, pretty powerful. He might have a way to stop Nicol Bolas. So if it's heading that way and Nicol Bolas does show up to Dominaria, or even like a set or two afterwards, and they kind of come back but set it up now, that would be kind of cool. But if they completely ignore the current storyline, I would actually be a little bit surprised, and I would be actually really disappointed. If they're just like, meanwhile, on Dominaria, and then it's just the same old, with these people, has nothing to do with the Gatewatch and nothing to do with Nicol Bolas, then what's the point? Like, I want that story arc to be resolved at some point. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but 3 months less than I thought, because like I said, the core set is coming out in July after this, and this is coming out in April, so that's kind of cool. And out of the three, who do you like best, Karn or the other two wrong answers? Let me know your comments and craziest speculation down in the comment section, and I will see you guys next video.